I would say the majority of people that I know have no idea what exactly my job entails. They assume I'm some sort of park ranger or something along those lines, but firefighting is only a part of what we do.
When I tell people I'm a firefighter, they assume that my job is similar to somebody that works in the city that would come to them if they called 911. That's not my job. My focus is wildland fire.
Ready to tell the world about who you are?
Yes, I am. When I tell people I'm a wildland firefighter, they're curious to know like what that entails, and I tell them I fight fires that are only in the wild land. And they think it's an extreme job. They're like, how could you do something so dangerous? And it's what I love. I get to run chainsaws. I get to cut trees down, so I get to do lumberjack type stuff. I get to fly in helicopters. I get to travel to places all over the United States. The United States Forest Service, we are a highly trained, highly skilled, highly experienced wildland firefighters. Under the U.S. Forest Service, there's engines, hotshot crews, we have helitack crews, which are helicopter firefighters, and then we have smoke jumpers also.
So this is the Rio Grande station. We share this station with the helicopter crew 527.
So this is funny that we're doing this, because we're probably like the two shyest, quietest people on the crew.
This is good for us, actually.
Yeah, this is good for us.
A hotshot is a highly skilled, highly motivated person who is specialized in burning operations, coordinating with air resources.
Yeah, a hotshot, like Rudy said, is a highly specialized wildland firefighter.
There's a 20-person hand crew that responds to fires throughout the country.
We hike into a fire area and monitor fires, work with other resources to
put out the fire.
yeah.
I've been as far as South Dakota to drive to a fire and then still have to hike.
Boots on the ground.
On the fire's edge, 1 foot in the black, 1 in the green.
Seeing what the fire activity is, doing what you can to contain it in a safe manner.
Obviously during the summer we're busy, we're gone most of the time, going to fires. I'm rarely home.
So even though we're stationed in California, we're a national resource, so we get to travel all over the country.
Being able to go somewhere where some people have never even walked or ever been, I appreciate the job. We share the station with Helicopter 527. They also work for the Forest Service.
We respond at a moment's notice to fires on the forest. Sometimes, typically, we could be the first ones on the scene due to our aviation asset. So we could be the first one there to help start managing that fire, putting people on the ground, getting access to the fire, either by air or help coordinating the drive-in for the people trying to find the routes into the fire. But when you are the first ones there, you're just trying to grasp basic safety and a foothold of the fire. One of the best assets we have of having the helicopters, we get that bird's eye view of the fire and the terrain when we were going in there, so we could see exactly where the fire is going. We could see road access coming in. That's just what we have to do. We have to protect public life and safety, and then manage the forest at the same time.
It's an engine station. We have an engine here, Type 2 dozer, patrol, and a water tender. I work with Dozer 3. It's just a local fire dozer. I'm the dozer swamper. These fires are really big, so they got to find a place that they can catch them. They'll look at a map, they'll find a good area where they think they can hold a fire, and they'll bring a lot of dozers out there and they'll just put really big fuel breaks in. What the plan is basically just to bring that fire line down to bare minimal dirt. And once it gets to the dirt, it's supposed to stop it. And there's also times where they'll have this get closer to the fire, and then have us actually put dozer line along the fire's edge to put it out.
So this is the engine I work on. It's a Type 3 wildland engine. It's meant to go off-road and carries 600 gallons of water as a high-capacity pump. And we carry a whole bunch of different tools and hose. So as the operator, I would come check the engine out, pop the hood, make sure it's all mechanically sound, check the fluids, make sure it's all operational, ready to go. And so my job is to drive it, and then when we get to the fire, I operate the fire pump.
So I'm the engine operator for this engine here. So in that role, I'm the driver. I'm driving the fire engine to the incident. And then at an incident, if we're supplying water to the fire, I'm running the pump. So I'm supplying the hose lay to the firefighters that are putting water on the fire. The physical conditioning in the Forest Service, typical PT program at any of the station is involving hiking and running. The packs get anywhere between 30 to 55 pounds of stuff. And you're wearing that all day long when you're fighting a fire. So just being conditioned to wear that in like a hot environment is part of it. And then the fires, especially around here, they burn in some pretty rugged terrain. Like fires burn uphill fast, and so that's the job, it's an uphill job. Under the United States Forest Service and fire specifically, you know, we have all these different facets, all these teams come together. We have on initial attack with fire, we send 5 engines, bulldozers, our aircraft, air tankers, helicopters, hotshot crews. So all those pieces are spread out strategically through the forest, and then they come together. And you know the people, you see them, and then you meet up on that incident, and your training kicks in, and you just get the job done and coordinate the effort to get the fire put out.
Today we're going to be driving this engine up to Figueroa Mountain to assist with the prescribed burns up there. So up at the Figueroa burn area, we're going to be meeting up with the Royal Grande hotshots. We have patrols, some guys from the heli-tac crew, and we all kind of meet up during the winter and combine forces to achieve the fuels project up there.
Welcome to Figueroa Mountain Station. This is my station where I've worked the last 7 years. This is it. Everyone should be here shortly. When they get here, we'll prep for the day. We'll do a little briefing. Today we're going to complete the final part of a fuels project that has been ongoing at Figueroa Mountain. A prescribed fire is a controlled way to use fire on the landscape. So it's completely controlled by us. We're fighting fire with fire, basically. So the morning starts out with getting the weather. We get accountable for who's here, who's coming. The next thing will be, now that I'm going through my little checklist in my brain, is we gotta call dispatch to make sure that they get the notifications.
We as a Forest Service agency, we're all stewards of the land and trying to manage and take care of this land in a manner that benefits new growth and a good ecological system for the forest.
All right, I think we're ready to go. Wildfire season in the United States usually starts late April and goes until the end of October. I'd say within the last 5 or 6 years, it seems like fire season's 365 days a year. Just get it as hot as you can to start. We want to burn as much as we can.
Air temperature 51.3 degrees.
A prescribed fire's objective is to take the buildup of fuels between the ground and the canopy away. So if I run a low intensity fire on the ground of a forest, it's not going to burn the top of the canopy of the trees, and the tree will live and grow for another 100 years. If I let that fuel from the ground to the canopy build up, when a fire goes through there, it'll be so hot that it will ignite the tree on fire. And it's just quite simple that, like, you can't burn something twice. Like if your house burned to the ground, you could dump gas on it and the only thing that's going to burn is the gas, and then once the gas is gone, it's done. So we do use prescribed fire to burn the forest, and then now the forest is burned. You have a refuge for fire. And so there will be no chance that a fire could go in there with the intensity that we put through there in 5 years or 6 years or 20 years for that matter. It'll be manageable, it'll be easier to fight once we run fire through an area of the forest.
Unfortunately, the past decade or so, it seems like fires are getting much larger. I do believe they are getting bigger, faster. They do become harder to manage.
So Southern California is very unique and different. We're getting more and more residents pushing out towards the forest. I think in light of the last couple years, they're starting to get a better hold of what the problem is, and that's getting a lot of these dense population areas that are pushing out toward the forest. You get areas where there was never houses, there's no history of houses being there, so there's fires that have been there and haven't caused any destruction, and now you have houses being built.
They do pose a risk living in that area.
When we respond to a fire in the forest, we're not only worried about trying to contain it within trees and roads, but now we have all these homes, and that takes away a lot from when we fight fires.
History repeats itself. Those footprints have burned before, and they're gonna burn again. It's meant to burn. Like, none of that stuff's meant to just never be touched by fire at some point.
Fire is a natural part of California, and the land here has been developed to burn, and it's intended to burn. It's every bit as normal as any other weather pattern. We're fighting against Mother Nature and preventing fires, and we're moving more and more into these areas that are intended to burn.
The easy answer is to point at us and say maybe we're not doing our job, or the power companies aren't keeping up to date on their equipment, but in reality, they're in high fire prone areas. They always have been. Best way we can do our job is if they do their part and keep their defensible space around their houses.
The homeowners in Southern California need to do their homework on the area that they live in and understand the risks involved and understand that fire is a natural part of the environment and it's not going anywhere, and they need to take the steps to do their clearance and do the research involved to show how their house can best survive a catastrophic incident like a wildfire.
We just want to educate them. The big word for that is defensible space.
Homeowners can clear the property, clear any fuels around their house, and maintain awareness of what level of fire hazard their home is in and what they need to do to prevent that.
A lot of people that do this job, we're outdoorsy, strong work ethic. We like challenges, we like pushing ourselves. You're kind of like a second family, and then during the fire season, I see the guys and girls I work with more than I see my wife and kids. So you have that bond, and you go through some hard times. The job can be super difficult, but it's rewarding at the same time. But you just build that bond with people through work and through struggles and trials and all that stuff that comes along with it.
We've been through a lot of fires and just a lot of hard times, and I think those are the shifts. The really hard shifts are the ones where you really connect.
I just like to see something at the end of the day, that something was completed, and feel like that I'm a part of contributing to some bigger goal. The people that are in this job and make a career out of it are the special people that seek this out. The people that make a career here aren't stuck here. They want to be here.